There we go. Hi, yeah, Mike, you were talking with me in the comments. Let's see. Thank you, Carolyn. Why, if sheriff said that they had to wait on SWAT, it was a border control agent that went through the door and got shot, killing him. Supposedly, the sheriff has some questions to answer. Yes. Thank you, Mike. Okay, I didn't know there were conflicting reports. Yes, to Scooter, there are. Nicole Griffith, hello. I agree to what you said here. I saw the video and it's awful. They were begging to get in. Yeah, the video is ridiculous. This is beyond horrific. I'm sick to my stomach. Hi, Gail B. Hi, Kathy. The poor parents are trying so hard. Yeah, and they even threw one guy down and like pinned him down. One of the fathers asked, let me have your gear. I'll take your gun and your vest and I'll go in. Hi, Jane Grill. Hi, Sandy Ellens. Hi, Marissa Cart. Whisper to Me. Lisa Hobbs. Kelly in Texas. You know, the other guy who was ironically named Scott Peterson in the Parkland shooting, who went the other way, he was charged. And these guys are just standing out there pushing people back. It's horrific to see the video. Did anyone hear the husband? Yes, the husband of one of the teachers. Yes, she was actually the teaching assistant in the room. And yeah, he had a heart attack and a fatal heart attack. He died. Yep. Hi, Kelly in Texas. Pamela, Patrick, Lisa Hobbs. Okay, so let me tell you, you're going to get like really probably upset. And it's very upsetting. Hi, Snow Remover. Margot K. Monica. Everybody that's here, help me, Rhonda, Amy Lawler, Lisa Hobbs. Okay, so let's go and look at this. Jenny D1, I'm sorry, Sean Sneed. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I'm going to pull up something I was looking at before, which is over here. Now listen to this stuff, okay? This is horrific. So, no wonder, like all the questions we had and stuff, we know why we've had them, because the Texas official reverse key statements from recent days say officers waited for backup long after shooting began. Everyone was being told to stand back. Desperate parents gathered outside Robb Elementary School Robb Elementary were ordered by police to move away as they begged officers in tactile gear to go inside after the gunman. Some parents tried to rush in themselves. One man was pinned to the ground by officers. Video recorded at the scene shows, and a witness said that a woman was handcuffed. Okay? The videos, you can find them. They're horrific. They're screaming for their kids. They're screaming to go in there. They're getting pushed back. In bursts of chatter on an open radio channel on Tuesday, local ambulance drivers were directed to reports of injuries at a dangerous situation at the school, but cautioned to give law enforcement space to do their job. Please just stay back, a voice told them. I'll call you guys up one at a time if we need you. But even as police from local, state, and federal agencies responded to the scene, an hour, you have to really understand this, an hour passed before a heavily armed tactile team entered a fourth grade classroom and killed 18-year-old Salvador Rolando Ramos. According to video and information provided for the first time Thursday by public officials, by then, the gunman had fatally shot 19 students and 2 teachers and wounded 17 others. America's deadliest school massacre in almost a decade. At a chaotic news conference Thursday, Victor Escalon Jr., regional director at the Texas Department of Public Safety, gave a starkly different account of the police response to the massacre than what had been said earlier in the week. Some 12 minutes elapsed between Ramos crashing his pickup. So first you have to understand, this kid wrote on social media what he was going to do. Then he took this shot his grandmother, right? His grandmother, there was a 911 call, okay? He's driving the pickup truck, crashes. And 12 minutes elapse between the crash, okay? He also is going to start shooting before he reaches the school. This is crazy, right? So crashes his pickup near the school and entering the building. 12 minutes elapsed. During that period, the gunman, Ramos, opens fires on witnesses coming out of a funeral home that's across the street. And a 911 caller reported a man carrying a gun. Police did not arrive until the gunman had entered the school. 12 minutes they had. Okay? And when he shot at the officers, they retreated to await backup. They retreated. The new details were released as authorities faced growing questions over the response by law enforcement to the attack and use of tactics that Governor Greg Abbott and other officials previously claimed helped to prevent more deaths at the school. Now, on Wednesday, Abbott says it is a fact that because of their quick response getting on the scene, being able to respond to the gunman and eliminate the gunman, they were able to save lives. After 2 days in which officials have offered partial and contradictory details of the timeline of the shooting, Escalon offered another equally confusing account on Thursday, saying, the gunman who had shot his grandmother and fled in a pickup truck crashed the vehicle at 11:28 a.m. Photographs from the scene show the gray Ford pickup stopped next to the broken railings at a ditch-like concrete area beside the western perimeter of the school ground. At 11:30 a.m., police received the first 911 call reporting that a man who had crashed a vehicle was carrying a gun, according to Escalon. Escalon said witnesses described the gunman exiting the passenger side of his truck carrying a rifle and a bag. He opened fire on 2 people who had walked out of a funeral home across the street. According to Escalon's telling of the witness accounts, the gunman then walked towards the school, climbed a fence, and shot at the school from the parking lot. Officials had previously stated that the gunman was confronted by a school police officer who fired at him. That's not true. They didn't even have an armed resource officer on duty, okay? Later, they said the officer had confronted him but did not open fire. Escalon said on Thursday that both versions were inaccurate. No officer confronted the gunman before he entered the west side of the school at 11:40. Escalon said that he walked through a door that appears to have been unlocked. Very good, right? 4 minutes later, according to Escalon, officers from Uvalde Police Department and the school district police department arrived at the school. Escalon offered unclear statements about how close those officers got to Ramos. Having first said the officers were inside making entry and took cover after coming under fire, he then said they don't make entry initially because of the gunfire. They hear gunfire, they take rounds, they move back, get cover. Since the 1999 massacre at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado, many police departments have trained officers to go after an attacker as soon as possible to minimize the number of teachers and children shot. Before then, guidance often emphasized waiting for specially trained officers such as a SWAT team. The speed and willingness of officers to pursue shooters into buildings has been called into question following other attacks in recent years, including the massacre at the high school in Parkland, Florida in 2018. In any active shooter situation, the protocol is to address the threat. You go at the threat. You go where the gunfire is because you're trying to stop the threat, said the Texas DPS spokesperson, Lieutenant Chris Olivares. According to witnesses and video, there was a substantive police presence outside the school as frantic parents and onlookers gathered. Derek Sotelo, who runs a nearby auto shop, said he watched from the funeral home as officers arrived and began clustering around a school entrance that faces a parking lot. There were a lot of cops surrounding that door, Sotelo said, adding that he did not know if any of the officers entered. At a news conference on Wednesday, Texas DPS Chief Stephen C. McCraw said that after the gunman opened fire, officers engaged the active shooter and continued to keep him pinned down in that location until a tactical team could get inside. But Escalon on Thursday appeared to play down the notion of ongoing exchanges of fire between the time the gunman entered the fourth grade classroom and when police confronted him about an hour later. The majority of the gunfire was in the beginning of the incident, he said. Previously, police spokesman had said the gunman barricaded himself inside the classroom for a period of time, rendering officers unable to get to him. Police and public officials have cautioned that their massive investigation is ongoing and what is known about the shooting will undoubtedly change in coming days and weeks. Still, social media postings and witness interviews have helped reconstruct portions of what happened, calling into question some accounts by authorities. The school announced on Facebook at 11:43 a.m. that it was locked down due to gunshots in the area. The students and staff are safe in the building, it said. At that point, the shooter had been inside the school for 3 minutes, according to the timeline Escalon gave on Thursday. 1 minute after that, at the exact time that Escalon said officers attempted to enter the building and then retreated after being fired at, a resident said in his own Facebook post that there was a shootout in front of the school. Javier Cazares, whose 9-year-old daughter Jacqueline was inside, said in an interview that he and other men demanded action as they huddled by a door to the school. There were 5 or 6 of us fathers hearing the gunshots, and police officers were telling us to move back. Cazares said, "We didn't care about us. We wanted to storm the building." Cazares later learned that his daughter Jacqueline had been shot and killed. Some children managed to flee the school at 12 p.m., according to video rendered. At 12:06, the school published another alert on the lockdown, stating that the students and staff are safe in the buildings. 11 minutes after that, however, it's updated with a starker message. There was an active shooter at Robb Elementary. Law enforcement is on site. Tony Gonzalez, representative from Texas, whose district includes this district, he said he was told in a briefing that gunfire appeared to halt for half an hour period after the gunman was barricaded or trapped in the classroom. That's where there's kind of a lull in the action, Gonzalez said. All of it, I understand, lasted about an hour, but this is where there's kind of a 30-minute lull. They feel as though they've got him barricaded in. The rest of the students in the school are now leaving. Citing preliminary information, Escalon on Thursday said that during the negotiation, there wasn't much gunfire other than trying to keep the officers at bay. Authorities have not previously mentioned any negotiations between law enforcement and the gunman, and Escalon did not elaborate. Eventually, a tactical team of federal and local officers was put together. Agents from an elite Border Patrol tactical unit led a phalanx into the classroom, protected by a ballistic shield. They fired at the gunman, according to 2 federal law enforcement officials who spoke on condition of anonymity to provide preliminary details. The gunman fired at the officers as they entered, one official said. During the exchange of fire, the official said 1 agent was shot in the foot and grazed in the head. Authorities have not said precisely what time the gunman was shot, but Escalon on Thursday said it was approximately 1 hour after the first responding officers arrived. Police announced on social media at 1:06 p.m. that the gunman was under the control of law enforcement. Police elsewhere have faced scrutiny over their responses to mass shootings. More than a week after 17 people were killed at Parkland in February 2018, officers acknowledged that the Broward County Sheriff's deputy, working as a school resource officer, remained outside throughout the massacre and failed to confront the attacker. Scott Peterson, the former deputy, was charged with child neglect and negligence in 2019. He said he did not know where the shots were coming from. An arrest affidavit said that he had active shooter training 2 years before the Parkland massacre, during which officers were told about the need to respond urgently because every time you hear a gunshot in an active shooter incident, you have to believe that it's another victim being killed. A state commission investigating the shooting later faulted multiple other officers for not acting quickly enough, saying that several had failed to try and confront the attacker. Several deputies from the Broward Sheriff's Office were seen or described taking the time to put on ballistics vests, sometimes in excess of 1 minute, and in response to hearing gunshots, the commission said. half-dozen deputies arrived near the building where the shooting took place. Most of them heard gunshots, and they did not immediately move towards the gunshots to confront the shooter. One sergeant remained behind his car in a position of personal safety. After the June 2016 massacre at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, police were criticized for waiting for hours to breach the club's walls and attack the gunman after they had pursued him earlier inside the building. Police had fired at the shooter before settling into a standoff with him while he remained inside a bathroom with club patrons. The then Orlando police chief defended the agency's response, saying that the gunman had stopped firing while barricaded inside the bathroom, transforming the scene from an active shooter into a hostage standoff. Okay, so that is like crazy. That if you watch the video, have you watched the video where they're pushing the parents out of the way? Have any of you watched that? It's horrific. They're screaming about their kids. They're screaming about it all. And they're just being told that just go. Let me get some of the stuff here. Okay. Oh, boy, let me see. Thank you to whoever sent the super chat. And let me see here. Hi, Alley Cattails and everybody. Oh, Casey Jones, thank you. All right. So, how do you feel? About this? I mean, you feel angry? Yeah. Did you watch the videos where they're pushing the parents away? It's ridiculous how they lied. They lied. They retreated. I'm sorry. And there's somebody on Facebook going, oh, wait, I'm sure you're going to, don't believe this. Don't believe this. There are a bunch of cowards out there, really. So and you could hear the kids getting shot up in there. And they just stayed outside while these people's kids are getting shot up and teachers are getting shot up. Parents wanted to go in, but the officers are too chicken to do their job. Exactly, Mike. Exactly. What they're supposed to serve and protect. You know what? I guess when it comes down to it, they really don't want to. It's ridiculous. And they were pinning people. They tackled one father down. One mother was handcuffed. Learn from Columbine. They're supposed to, Alley Cattails, but the guy did it in Parkland too. I had questions too, Red Like Wine. I kept saying, what do you mean they engaged him? How did they engage him? Why couldn't they have shot him? He didn't even have, he had a tactile vest without the plates inside. And I'll tell you, okay, so here's some other things from from some of the parents. Okay, so a Uvalde father, Victor Luna, a parent of a student at Robb Elementary School, said he pleaded with officers to give him their gear so he could go inside as the shooting was happening. I told one of the officers myself, if they didn't want to go in there, let me borrow his gun and vest and I'll go in there myself and handle it. And they told me no, adding that he wanted the officers to go in and get rid of the man, that shooter. I mean, they took a while for them to go in there. So, I mean, this tragedy happened like kids didn't make it out. They were doing their job, but they could have done it quicker before that man went into the school. His son, Jaden, survived Tuesday's mass shooting. He said he also had grandchildren in the school. Luna said that he saw some officers going in and out of the building, but he wanted to see more. In a situation like that, they should have just all went in. I mean, there's innocent students in there. They could have gunned him down just like he did them when he walked in. Luna noted that he had waited about 2 to 3 hours before they started bringing kids out of the school. That was what was aggravating me because I want to see my son. I didn't know what was going on. He could have been in there dead. Jaden is hurting and doesn't want to be by himself, Luna added. Derek Gonzalez, a witness to the scene, said he saw family members crying and screaming. They were like, give me the vest, I'll go in there. And the cops were pushing people back to get out of the way. They went outside for what felt like forever. He said his aunt is a 4th grade teacher in the same building. She survived and is shaken up. He said his cousin lost his daughter, Amory Garza, in the massacre. Okay, and then Joe Garcia, the husband. Hold on one second. What did I just do here? My goodness. Of Irma Garcia, one of the 2 teachers shot and killed in Uvalde, whose body was found shielding her tragic students, just suffered a massive heart attack and died. Joe and Irma were high school sweethearts and married for 24 years, and they leave behind 4 children. Irma Garcia's family said her body was found holding students, protecting a child who was also killed in the shooting. Her high school sweetheart, Joe Garcia, has died of a heart attack. They leave behind 4 children. He was 48 years old. And this was him visiting the memorial they had there. And then he died shortly right after that. Irma taught at the school for 23 years. In 2019, she was one of 19 San Antonio area teachers named as a finalist for the Trinity University Prize that recognizes excellence in teaching. I thought she was an aide, but she was a co-teacher there. The couple had 4 children. Joe loved barbecuing with Irma and listening to music. Initially, their nephew said he passed away from grief. On Wednesday night, John Martinez, Joe and Irma's nephew, said the family has described this week as a nightmare and they still haven't come to terms with losing Irma. Joe was a family man who would have done anything and everything for his 4 kids. Irma's body, again, was found holding another student, protecting a child who was also killed in the shooting, and they believe Irma died a hero. Now, the daughter of the other teacher, Eva Morales, said, wrote a tribute to her mom saying, "Mom, you are a hero," in a letter on social media. "I keep telling myself this isn't real. I just want to hear your voice." So this was, let me see if I can pull this up here. It says, "To the half that makes me whole, Mom, I have no words to describe how I feel right now, tomorrow, and for the rest of my life. I never thought that I would be here writing this type of post for you. Mom, you are a hero. I kept telling myself that this isn't real. I just want to hear your voice. I want to hear you talking to our dogs with that silly voice you make so high that wakes everyone up in the morning. I want to hear you say, 'Nanis, wake up already, man,' because I keep snoozing my alarm. I want to hug you one last time, and I want to feel the calluses on your hands because you were not only a teacher during the day, but the most hardworking CrossFitter in the afternoon. I want to be able to get out of work and expect your call at 4:30 every day because that's the first thing you would do as soon as you got out. I want to see you sitting on the couch you claimed was only yours, sitting with our dogs. I want to send you TikToks and say them over and over until Dad gets tired of us. I want to annoy you and wake you up from naps just so that you can check on my chicken and make sure I didn't undercook it. I want to sing karaoke with you and hear you sing 'Shine Bright Like Diamonds' in your loudest voice. I want to fight with you for the stupidest things and then laugh with you after. I want everything back. I want you to come back to me, Mom. I miss you more than words can explain. My beautiful Mom, thank you for the funniest memories. Thank you for the best times of my life. Thank you for being my best friend. Thank you for being the best mom anyone could ask for. You are so known by many now, and I'm so happy that the people know your name and the beautiful face of yours, and they know what a hero looks like. I don't know how to do this life without you, but I will take care of Dad. I will take care of our dogs, and I will forever say your name so you're always remembered. Eva Morales, 4th grade teacher at Robb Elementary, who selflessly jumped in front of her students to save their lives. My heart will forever be broken. My best friend, my twin, was taken from me. Thank you for loving me the best ways and for raising me to become so strong. Everyone who knows you knows how outgoing and funny you were. I will miss your laugh forever. I want to thank you, Mom, for being such an inspiration to me. I will forever be so proud to be your daughter. My sweet mommy, I will see you again." And this is the picture that was posted with it. Okay. As gunfire rang out in the fourth grade classroom at Robb Elementary on Awards Day, 11-year-old Maya Cirillo put blood on herself and played dead, according to her aunt. Blanca Rivera lives in Houston, but has been in contact with her brother, Maya's father, since the tragedy. On the day of the shooting, she spoke to the media while her niece was in the hospital after about 5 hours away, being treated for bullet fragments that hit her back. As details emerged, she learned the lengths the child went to survive. With all the blood on her clothes and everything, that just means she wanted to survive, Rivera said in an interview on Thursday. She did what she had to do to survive. She pretended to be dead. Rivera said she does not know how her niece came up with the idea, but it likely saved her life. It is her understanding that the fourth grade students switched between the two fourth grade teachers' classes, and the rooms were adjoined. She believes Maya's teacher was Irma Garcia, who was killed. As parents wondered where their children were in the midst of the chaos, telling reporters or posting online that they were missing, Maya told her father she knew where they were. She did say the kids were not missing. They were in her classroom. The days following the tragedy have been tough on the 11-year-old and her parents. Rivera said the elementary student has been physically ill and has a hard time sleeping. She knows that she will need therapy to cope with what she has experienced. Rivera explained to her children what happened to Maya on Tuesday night. She said her son cried during the moment of silence at school the next day, thinking about how he could have lost his cousin. Rivera's daughter, Gabriela, who is also in fourth grade, is close to Maya, and they talk regularly. The child said she is sad about what happened and wants to talk to Maya, but knows she needs space. I know it's going to be hard for her that all her friends are gone, Gabriela said. Her teachers, like she was just kind of by herself at that time when it happened. I know my grandma was there for her. They do not know why or how Maya's life was spared, but they are incredibly thankful. Only God knows that, Rivera said. Only God can answer that question. We just thank him that she was the one. She has a story to tell. The Rivera family plans to go to the town in the next few weeks to visit their relatives and hopefully get their minds off things, even if it's only for a time being. You don't have to be a parent to feel the pain these parents are going through, Rivera said. It's unimaginable what they went through, especially the smaller kids. They didn't have to go through that. That's not what I want. Hold on. This is what I want. These are the victims. One student was an avid runner, so fast she swept the races at field day. Another was learning football plays from his grandfather. One girl sensed something was wrong and wanted to skip school. On Wednesday, stories began to emerge about the lives of the 19 fourth graders, precious individuals, according to the school district superintendent, and their two teachers who were gunned down behind a barricaded door at Robb Elementary School in the southwestern Texas town of Uvalde. All of those who died were in the same fourth grade classroom where the shooter barricaded himself and opened fire on the children and teachers, is what Texas Governor Greg Abbott said in a news conference on Wednesday. You can just tell by their angelic smiles that they were loved, Harrell said of the children. That's the school superintendent, Hal Harrell. They loved coming to school. They were just precious individuals. Among the students killed, 10-year-old Eliana Garcia, whose relatives learned late Tuesday that she was among those killed. She was very happy and very outgoing. A fifth grade teacher at Flores Elementary School said her aunt, who's a fifth grade teacher in the Flores Elementary School in the same school district. She loved to dance and play sports. She was big into family and enjoyed being with family. Eliana Cruz Torres. Ryan Ramirez rushed to Robb Elementary when he heard about the shooting, hoping to find his daughter, Alethea, and take her home. But Alethea, too, was among one of the victims. Ramirez's Facebook page includes a photo, now shown around the world, of the little girl wearing the multicolored t-shirt that announced she was out of single digits after turning 10 years old. The same photo was posted again Wednesday with no words, but Alethea was wearing angel wings. Alexandria Anaya Rubio, a fourth grader at Robb Elementary, was beaming with pride on Tuesday in a family photo posted on Facebook by her mother showing the girl holding an A honor roll certificate she earned for excellent grades. Hours after the photo was taken, a gunman burst into Alexandria's classroom and killed her, 18 other children, and 2 teachers. We told her we loved her. We would pick her up after school, said Alexandria's mother, Kimberly Rubio, in her Facebook post. We had no idea this was goodbye. Mady Rodriguez, 10, also made honor roll for straight A's and B's this year and was publicly recognized at an assembly on Tuesday, said Ana Rodriguez, her mother. The day she died was supposed to be a day of triumph. She worked hard. I only encouraged her, Rodriguez said at an interview Thursday at her dining room table, which displayed a bouquet of red roses, the honor roll certificate, and photos of Mady. Mady was focused, competitive, smart, bright, beautiful, happy, her mother said. As a kindergartner, Mady said she wanted to be a marine biologist and held firmly to that goal. She researched a program at Texas A&M University in Corpus Christi and told her mother she was set on studying there. She was just so driven. She was definitely special. She was going to be something. She was going to be something very, very special. Vincent Salazar's 11-year-old daughter, Layla, was among those killed. She loved to swim and dance to videos on TikTok, her father said. An avid runner, she won 6 races at the school field day, and Salazar proudly posted a photo of Layla showing off her 2 ribbons on Facebook. Each morning, as he drove her to school in his pickup, Salazar would play Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, and they'd sing along, he said. She was excited about seeing the new Marvel movie, Thor, Love and Thunder. She was a whole lot of fun, he said. Manny Renfro said he got word Tuesday that his grandson, 8-year-old Yesiah Garcia, was among those killed. The sweetest little boy that I've ever known, Renfro said. I'm not just saying that because he was my grandkid. Renfro said Yesiah last visited him in San Angelo, Texas during spring break. We started throwing the football together, and I was teaching him pass patterns. Such a fast little boy, and he could catch a ball so good, he said. There were certain plays that I would call that he would remember, and he would do it exactly like we practiced. Lisa Garza, 54, of Arlington, Texas, mourned the death of her 10-year-old cousin Xavier Lopez, who was eagerly awaiting a summer of swimming. He was just a loving little boy, just enjoying life, not knowing that tragedy was going to happen. She said he was very bubbly, loved to dance with his brothers, his mom. This has just taken such a toll on us, on all of us. She also lamented what she described as lax gun laws. We should have had more restrictions, especially if these kids are not in the right state of mind and all they want to do is hurt people, especially innocent children going to school. She spoke angrily through tears about how the shooter managed to get a gun. It's just difficult to understand or put into words, she said. I just don't know how people can sell that type of a gun to a kid, 18 years old. What is he going to use it for? But for that purpose. When thinking back on her deceased sister, Faith Mata says she mostly remembers the fun times they had together. Sissy, I miss you so much, Faith wrote on Facebook. I just want to hold you and tell you how pretty you are. I want to take you outside and practice softball. I want to go on one last family vacation. I want to hear your contagious laugh, and I want you to hear me tell you how much I love you. Javier Cazares said he found out Tuesday afternoon that his 9-year-old daughter, Jacqueline Cazares, was killed in her classroom. She was with a group of 5 girls, including her second cousin, Annabelle Rodriguez, who formed a tight group of friends. They are all gone now, Cazares said. The extended families of the slain cousins gathered together Wednesday to mourn and comfort each other over barbecue. Cazares described his daughter as a firecracker who had a voice. She didn't like bullies. She didn't like kids being picked on. All in all, full of love. She had a big heart, he said. And that's Annabelle Rodriguez. My baby, you didn't deserve this, Veronica Luevanos, the mother of 4th grader Jalaya Siguero, wrote on Facebook on Wednesday. The post also mourned the girls' classmates, teachers, and cousins. Jace Carmelo Luevanos, also killed in the shooting. These are cousins too. Jalaya's friend, Navaya Alyssa Bravo, also was killed. Her aunt noted the child's first name is Heaven, spelled backwards. In a Facebook post, Yvonne White described Navaya and Jalaya as our angels. In another social media post, Steven Garcia paid tribute to his lost daughter. Our Ellie was a doll and was the happiest ever. I was going to DJ for her party, and she wanted me to. Uvalde resident Erica Mena also mourned Ellie, who played on a local youth basketball team. She shared a series of pictures on Facebook of the team during the games and holding trophies. Ellie was our hype girl in the heart of the team. She never missed a practice and was the loudest when it came to cheering for the team, Manny wrote on Facebook. Federico Torres rushed to the school Tuesday when he heard about the shooting and waited for news about his 10-year-old son, Rogelio. He was praying that my son is found safe. Please, if you know anything, let us know. Rogelio, one of the victims, is seen in this picture right here. Angel Garza, a medical assistant with a stepdaughter at the school, arrived soon after the shooting and found himself aiding students streaming out, injured and shaken up. One girl was covered in blood, and he asked if she'd been shot. I'm not hurt. He shot my best friend. She's not breathing. She was just trying to call the cops. And then she named the friend, Anne-Marie Jo Garza, his stepdaughter. Anne-Marie was a happy child who had just gotten her first cell phone for turning 10 years old and had just gotten a certificate that morning of the shooting for making honor roll. She also loved to paint and draw and work in clay. Garza said that in his grief, he wonders what happened in those brief moments before Anne-Marie was killed, if she said anything to the shooter, if he had seen her reach for her phone, and then he remembered the moment she got the phone for her birthday in her face. It was just lit up with the happiest expression, said Garza. She was so sweet. Slain 4th grade teacher Eva Morales, 44, was remembered as a loving mother and wife. She was adventurous. She is definitely going to be missed, said her 34-year-old relative Amber Ybarra of San Antonio. As Ybarra prepared to give blood for the wounded, she wondered how no one noticed trouble when the shooter with the shooter in time to stop him. To me, it's more about raising mental health awareness, said Ybarra as wellness coach, who attended Robb Elementary herself. Someone could probably have seen a dramatic change before something like this happened. In a post on the school's website at the start of the school year, Morales had introduced herself to new students. "Welcome to 4th grade. We have a wonderful year ahead of us," she wrote, noting she had been teaching for 17 years, loved running and hiking, and had supportive, fun, and loving family. She mentioned that her husband was a school district police officer and that they had a grown daughter and 3 furry friends. The other slain teacher, Irma Garcia, had been a teacher for 23 years, all of them at Robb Elementary. She had previously been named the school's Teacher of the Year and was a 2019 recipient of the Trinity Prize for Excellence in Education from Trinity University in San Antonio. The grief around her death only grew on Thursday with word that her husband had also died. Joe Garcia, 50, had dropped off flowers at his wife's memorial on Thursday morning. He then pretty much just fell over after returning home and died of a heart attack, his nephew, John Martinez, said. Married for 24 years, they have 4 children. Lorena Augusti was substitute teaching at Uvalde High School when she heard about the shooting. She began frantically texting her niece, a 4th grader at Robb Elementary, until Augusti heard from her sister that the child was okay. Augusti said her niece asked her that night, "Tia, why did they do this to us? We're good kids. We didn't do anything wrong." Hillcrest Memorial Funeral Home, which is located across the street from Robb Elementary, said in a Facebook post that it would be assisting families of the shooting victims with no cost for funerals. So the grandmother is still in the hospital, is unable to speak following surgery on Wednesday. Rolando Reyes Ramos' grandfather said Thursday the suspect's 66-year-old grandmother was awake after surgery the day before, but still could not talk. Reyes spoke briefly with Fox News Digital outside of Uvalde, Texas home where Ramos had also been living with the couple. Ramos, 18, is said to have shot and killed 19 students and 2 teachers at nearby Robb Elementary School. Prior to Ramos shooting his grandmother, he sent Facebook messages that stated, "I'm going to shoot my grandmother. I've shot my grandmother, and then I'm going to shoot an elementary school." San Antonio-based University Health Hospital said Thursday morning that the 66-year-old woman, presumed to be Ramos's grandmother, remains in serious condition. 3 children also remain hospitalized, a 10-year-old girl in serious condition and 2 other girls ages 9 and 10 in good condition. Reyes also said Thursday that his daughter, Adriana Reyes, is feeling bad for everybody, but added she lost her son too. Adriana Reyes' boyfriend's mother, Maria Alvarez, said that she saw Adriana on Tuesday night when the woman appeared to be in shock over the day's events. Earlier on Tuesday, Adriana traveled to a San Antonio hospital with her wounded mother, Alvarez said. She showed up to Alvarez's Uvalde home hours later. She just said, "I came back because I have to find my son. I don't know where he's at." Okay, so the law enforcement officials in Texas are defending their response to the Uvalde elementary school amid questions about why officers waited an hour to engage the shooter. In a Thursday afternoon press conference, Regional Director for the Department of Public Safety, Victor Escalon, said it was a complex situation. There were numerous officers outside. This guy here, right here, is Escalon. Outside the fourth grade classroom, but he refused to elaborate on what law enforcement was doing an hour while they waited for the Border Patrol team that eventually killed the gunman to arrive. He said that they were getting negotiators on site, but later added that the shooter did not have any demands. Escalon also said there was no school resource officer at the scene, as officials, including Texas Governor Greg Abbott, had initially described at a press conference on Wednesday. Abbott said that an officer had approached the gunman and engaged with the gunman. Escalon said Thursday that not only did the officer not exchange gunfire with the shooter, but also there was no officer was even present. Abbott, as well as the Texas Department of Public Safety Director Stephen McCraw, said the shooter had barricaded himself inside the classroom. When asked about the detail on Thursday, Escalon would not provide further information. We've been given a lot of bad information, so why don't you clear all of this up now and explain to us how is it that your officers were in there for an hour? Yes, rescuing people, but yes, no one was able to get inside that room. Asked a reporter, Escalon said he would eventually answer the questions, but needed time to establish the why. Escalon's press conference followed a written statement from the Uvalde police chief, Daniel Rodriguez, in which he said he understood questions are surfacing regarding the details of what happened, but that police had responded within minutes and had suffered gunshot wounds. Police also had to retract initial statements that the gunman was wearing body armor. Since Wednesday night, reporting has continued to surface that law enforcement officials on site milled around outside the school while parents urged them to enter the building or asked to borrow equipment so they could attempt to save their children. The Associated Press reported late Wednesday that police waited outside the school for at least 40 minutes while the parents and onlookers urged them to do something. Let's just rush in because the cops aren't doing anything like they're supposed to, said Javier Cazares, whose daughter Jacqueline was killed in the attack. More could have been done. There were 5 or 6 of us fathers hearing the gunshots, and police officers were telling us to move back, Cazares says. We didn't care about us. We wanted to storm the building. We were saying, let's go, because that's how worried we were, and we had wanted to get our babies out. One mother was one of numerous parents who began encouraging, first politely and then with more urgency, police and other law enforcement to enter the school. After a few minutes, federal marshals approached her and put her in handcuffs, telling her she was being arrested for intervening in an active investigation. Angeli Rose Gomez, who had children in 2nd and 3rd grade, told the media that she convinced local Uvalde police officers whom she knew to persuade the marshals to set her free. Around her, the scene was frantic. She said she saw a father tackled and thrown to the ground by police and a third pepper sprayed. Once freed from her cuffs, Gomez made her distance from the crowd, jumped the school fence, and ran inside to grab her children. She sprinted out of the school with them. The aunt of one of the victims told a similar story to the New York Times, saying that her niece's stepfather was restrained and handcuffed by the police while attempting to help her. Nobody was telling him anything, said Desiree Garza, whose niece, Anne-Marie Jo Garza, was killed. He was trying to find out. He wanted to know where his daughter was. A nearly 7-minute video posted to social media seems to support the reporting, showing police restraining parents outside of the school and even holding one person on the ground. Uvalde, a small town of about 16,000 people, spends roughly 40% of its annual city budget on police. When asked about the reports of parents begging officers to do something, Escalon said he had heard that information but had not verified it yet. You got to understand, we're getting a lot of information. We're trying to track down and see what's true, Escalon said. During the Thursday afternoon press conference, Escalon provided the latest timeline on the shooting. After wrecking a truck that belonged to his grandmother, whom he had shot in the face, Escalon said the woman is alive and is in stable condition. The gunman, identified as 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, entered the school door, which was believed to have been an unlocked door at 11:40 a.m. 4 minutes later, Uvalde and District Police engaged the shooter but took cover while being shot at. Authorities didn't enter the school because of the gunfire, Escalon said, and they called for help. Tactical teams, we need equipment. We need specialty equipment. We need precision riflemen, negotiators, Escalon said, adding that officers were evacuating students and teachers during this time. An hour later, a Border Patrol agent killed Ramos. Abbott had praised the police for their response at Wednesday's press conference. The reality is, as horrible as what happened, it could have been worse. Abbott said Wednesday, the reason it was not worse is because law enforcement officials did what they did. They showed amazing courage by running towards gunfire for the singular purpose of trying to save lives. And it is a fact that because of their quick response, getting on the scene, being able to respond to the gunman and eliminate the gunman, they were able to save lives. Unfortunately, not enough. In an interview Wednesday evening, a fourth grader who said he had been hiding in a classroom indicated that police officers' actions may have caused another child who was hiding from the shooter to get shot. When the cops came, the cops said, "Yell if you need help." And one of the persons in my class said, "Help." The guy overheard and he came in and shot her, said the boy. The cop barged into that classroom. The guy shot at the cop and the cop started shooting. Details about the events on Tuesday had been scarce as law enforcement did not provide a televised briefing on Tuesday afternoon. Abbott spoke briefly about the shooting in the late afternoon before attending a campaign fundraiser. School district leadership gave brief statements without providing any details or taking questions. Lieutenant Christopher Olivares of Texas DPS said that on Thursday morning that authorities were still gathering information on what happened, including why it took officers so long to enter the building. I can tell you right now, as a father myself, I would want to go in too, but it's a volatile situation. Olivares said when asked about Cazares' comments, "We have an active shooter situation. We're trying to prevent any further loss of life. And as much as I would want to go into that school, we cannot have individuals go into that school, especially if they're not armed." Olivares said the school did have surveillance video that the FBI was obtaining. Our goal is to create a safe and engaging place for youth. Oh, excuse me, that's not what I'm reading. So, yeah, I mean, that is not good. So does anyone want to call in? If you want to call in, I'm going to put the number into Slack. And if you want to call in and tell what you think about this, do that. If you're not in Slack, you can email me for the number. Mike, did you want to come up and say anything about this? I can send you the number by email if you want to. I'm just going over here because I have to get the number. Okay. Okay. So let me know. I'm going to put the number in Slack. Okay. Whew. Okay. I don't know. You have to ask Kubi. Hi, LMNW. Hi, Kelly Bundiza. Oh, I saw Kelly B. I believe is also back somewhere. And, of course... Hi, Kim D. Haven't seen you in a while. Okay. They have glass that much. Oh, you're talking about, yeah, well, there's a lot of things that there should be done. Our kids don't have school tomorrow. They said it was a give back day or something. They did have an extra officer on. Big deal. Thanks, High 61. Call in, but I'm too sappy over this, and I have a spaceship running in my home. It's so loud. Okay. Miss you too, Kelly. Hi, MD. So let's just check on the other headlines here. I'm not even going to do the Depp trial right now. I'm so disgusted with the Depp trial. So the father of the Uvalde Robb elementary shooter said Salvador Ramos, 42, has the same name as his teen son, said he never expected his son to do something like that. He should have just killed me, instead of doing something like that to someone, he said. The elder Ramos lives in Hondo, about 40 miles east of Uvalde, where the shooting took place. He told the media that he hasn't spent much time with his son of late because he works digging holes around utility poles for inspection and because of the pandemic. His own mother has cancer, he said, and couldn't risk being exposed. The younger Ramos was supposed to graduate high school this year, he said. The teen shot his 66-year-old grandmother in the face just before the school shooting. Reportedly, they were arguing because he wasn't going to graduate, according to a neighbor. The grandmother, Celia Martinez, is in serious condition in a hospital in San Antonio. He dropped out because he said they were bullying him at school because of his clothes, the elder Ramos said, adding that his son was a good person. He was a quiet person, stuck to himself. He didn't bother nobody. People were always bothering him. Buddy said, I just want people to know, I'm sorry, man, for what my son did. There's a missing Virginia boy. Police are searching for a Virginia boy reported missing Thursday. 10-year-old boy from Bedford County disappeared in the Oak Ridge Farm area in Monetta. He's described as a white male with blonde hair, weighs about 64 pounds, stands less than 5 feet tall. He was last seen wearing camo pants, a long sleeve reddish shirt, and red glasses. Anyone with information on the child's whereabouts, call the Bedford County Sheriff's Office or dial 911. Then the body of the missing Ohio woman, Anastasia Hamilton, 24 years old, was found in a vacant home Tuesday. Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office said a body was found in a vacant home off of East 54th Street in Cleveland, and it's been identified as 24-year-old Anastasia Hamilton. Officials are still uncertain how long the body was there. Hamilton was last seen on security footage on May 21st at the Terminal Tower parking garage with a man, but police haven't released his identity. Security footage captured the pair walking together shortly before she vanished. Hamilton's mother, Melissa Romanello, said she filed a missing persons report when Hamilton failed to show up at work on Monday, which is reportedly unlike her. Romanello told police she didn't recognize the person with Hamilton in the security footage, but called him a known male. The police said, "Well, how do we know she's not there willingly?" Romanello said before Hamilton's body was found, "Something is wrong. Something is wrong." Excuse me. The cause of death as of Thursday morning has not been released. Anyone with information on the case is urged to contact the Cleveland Division of Police at 216-621-1234 or the Cuyahoga County Crime Stoppers 216-252-7463. On Monday, a pregnant woman was reportedly found deceased in a vacant lot in Wisconsin. Family members said that Amanda Kiepert, 34, was found wrapped in a blanket near some garbage on a corner in Milwaukee. Kiepert allegedly struggled with addiction, but the coroner said the circumstances surrounding her death were suspicious. Kiepert was reportedly 34 weeks pregnant, was expecting her sixth child, a girl. The blanket she was found wrapped in was tied at both ends, like it was used to carry her body. It is not immediately clear if and when Kiepert vanished or how she ended up in the lot she was found deceased in, though her family say they believe she likely overdosed. Bullet casings found near Kiepert's body appear to be unrelated to her death. Police have not described her death as a homicide. "I want to know who dumped her and turned yourself in," Kiepert's sister said. "It's killing our family, especially knowing we haven't seen her in a couple of years because of this addiction." An Arizona man is facing criminal charges for allegedly fatally shooting his wife on Friday. According to the Arizona Republic, Christopher Hoops, 36 years old, said he was startled when he shot his wife, Colleen Hoops, 25, 2 times with a 9mm handgun at their Tempe home at 3:30 a.m. He reportedly also claimed he fired the gun before realizing he had struck his wife in the bedroom. 2 cartridge cases were found in the bedroom, and the bedroom wall had visible damage. A neighbor provided authorities with audio that caught 2 shots being fired within 2 seconds apart. Initially, he had told our dispatchers that it was an accident. He woke up and was startled, and he fired his weapon. Evidence suggests that Christopher was at the foot of his bed when he fired shots that hit his wife on the opposite side of the bed. He called 911 4 minutes later. Christopher was charged with second-degree murder and discharging a firearm within city limits. His bond was set at $750,000. He's due in court on Thursday. Reality television star Josh Duggar was sentenced on Wednesday in Arkansas to 12 years in prison for federal child P charges. District Judge Timothy Brooks considered only one charge when sentencing Duggar, 34 years old, to 151 months in prison for receiving and possessing child P. Duggar has dozens of illicit pictures and 2 videos that showed a man essaying girls between the ages of 5 and 10. In December, a federal jury convicted Duggar of receipt and possession of child P. Brooks only considered the receipt charge for sentencing, as it is the more severe charge. Duggar faced a maximum of 20 years. His legal team argued that someone else downloaded the illegal materials onto his computer. Duggar has been accused of essaying 5 underage girls, including sisters Joanna, Jessa, Jill, and Jinger when he was a teen. Joanna and Jinger have expressed support regarding Josh's guilty verdict. According to the defense attorney, Justin Gelfand said they plan to appeal Josh's sentence, but it's unclear on what grounds he will do so. A day before sentencing, the defense requested an acquittal, alleging prosecutors did not disclose evidence in a timely fashion. An Oregon jury on Wednesday found self-published romance novelist Nancy Crampton Brophy guilty of killing her husband, a chef at the Oregon Culinary Institute, in 2018. Nancy, 71, faces 25 years to life in prison after the conviction on a second-degree murder charge. Sentencing is for June 17th. Closing arguments were delivered on Monday, and the jury deliberations began Tuesday morning. The trial began on April 4th and was paused for 10 days when one of the prosecutors tested positive for COVID. Investigators say that Crampton Brophy shot her husband of 27 years, 63-year-old Daniel Brophy, in the back as he worked at the Culinary Institute on June 2nd, 2018. She pled not guilty and testified that she was at home at the time of her husband's death. Prosecutors, however, showed surveillance video of her minivan near the Institute at about the same time as the shooting. She then claimed she had a memory hole and must have driven near the Institute while on her way to write in a park or somewhere else in her vehicle. Prosecutors say the novelist, whose career was faltering, shot her husband in order to collect on a life insurance policy that topped $1 million. Some of Crampton Brophy's titles have included the article The Wrong Husband and the Wrong Lover in a 2011 article essay, How to Murder Your Husband. Okay, and that's that. And so let's see if you guys have any, hold on, any questions or anything. Hello, Burnt Hot Dog. Hi, Tina Bina. Davita Lane. Let them out in the yard with the other prisoners. Lisa, how's it? Lucy, how are you? Deborah Van Courden. Let's see, Marianne Frantini. Who else jumped in here? Kevin Leonard. Little Lady. Sandy 10th Angel. Sandy, are you ready to do the... I'm going to start, I guess, another live on to put together this explosion box now. If you guys want to unwind from all of this stuff, we're going to put together an exploding box. And why is my... Okay. Do you want to do that? I'm going to just don't go anywhere because I'll just redirect it. Let me just get a, let me just set that up. But it'll be somewhere to come on and unwind with all this horrible stuff. And just try to unwind about it. So it's going to be the same Zoom number that's in there, but I'm just going to start another live. And I just need to really, really quickly, hold on a minute, just going to redirect us. I'm just going to do a new thumbnail. So, let me see here. Okay. So let me just get this here. Okay. Okay. All right, just hang on. I'm going to just get us in to here. Start up a new live, and then I will just redirect, and anyone else can just call into the Zoom and we'll do this, okay? Okay, hold on, I'm almost there. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to move us over as soon as I do the redirect. Okay, 11. Okay, perfect. Okay, now let me just do the redirect. And then you can relax with us. And we'll do this. Okay, I've got the redirect, so I'm going to end this and you're going to be redirected over, okay?